everyone, welcome to another video. So today we're going to be doing a Adobe beginners tutorial. This is the first few steps that I learned at A-level, which are brilliant, and if you haven't even touched the app, this is fully going back to basics. This is the pen tool, the shape tool, the brush tool, how to fill in shapes with colours. This is literally the beginner's guide. I looked around, there's a couple of videos on this, but I think this one, it's like I've got a screen recording and I'm going to guide you through how you would begin using Illustrator. There's also a stigma around Illustrator, how it's only used for creating logos or designing illustrations, but I think that's just because it's in the name. Illustrator can literally be used by anything. People use Photoshop to edit pictures, but you can also use it on Illustrator if you know all this little shapes and pens and everything. But I think it's a great app, and I'm going to go ahead and guide you through how to use it. So when you open the app, you'll have on the left hand side a bar where you can create a new artboard, which is where you'll be working. And then along the top you'll have the different formats that you could be working in, which could be an A4 sheet or an iPhone shape or literally anything. You can size it to yourself. And then at the bottom you'll have all your recent files. Then if you go up to File, New, you can create your new illustrating board. Now remember, there's lots of different settings you can do this on. You can have, here you'll have all your recent files, and then you can go to your save files, and then you can set it up to look like a mobile and a different format. Then you can set it up to look like a web page. So it depends what you're designing for. And then you can set up for a print, so A4 or A3, or if you're filming, literally anything, and then illustrating. So you want to name it, whatever you'd like to name it. Make sure you name it first so it's easy to find it afterwards. We're going to name ours Test. And then this just says which orientation you want yours to be in, so we'll want ours to be in landscape. And then the amount of artboards is how many pieces of work you're going to create. And then make sure it's in RGB, high, and it must be in pixels. And then there's more settings, but don't worry about that. And then go create. And then when it takes you to, you'll have this big white canvas, which is A4 size because we set it to that. And yeah, so this is what it looks like. There's lots of options, it's a bit confusing. It shows us here that we're on artboard 1. You can click to edit your artboard, so you can change the structure of it. You can turn the orientation of it. Yep, so this is just me zooming in and out. There's also some edits that we can do for zooming in and out, which I'll tell you about. And yeah, you can change how size it is or whatever you'd like. If you zoom in, you can press Alt and then move your fingers, and this zooms the page in. This here is the selection tool. The selection tool means you can just select a piece of work and you can move it around or you can delete it. It's basically just clicking. And then you have the magic wand and the pen tool. The pen tool is very helpful, obviously, because it's made for illustrating. If you click and then let go of it and drag, and then click again, and then press Escape on your keyboard, this will make your line. If you click, just like you did before, so if you click and then let go, and then click again, and then keep clicking until you get back to where you began, and then let go, it will create a shape for you, just as you can see here. So that's how you make shapes. Or you can actually use the type tool. So the type tool just obviously is for writing type out. So just click it wherever you like and then just start typing something. And then this can be edited. Obviously there's loads of different ways you can edit this. And then remember to hold Alt and drag it and you can make it bigger. And then if you go down to this bit where it says character, this is where you can edit your text. So if you click on the right hand side, you can go through and you can change your fonts. And you can use an app called DaFont, which you can download fonts from. We're just going to use this one. And then just here, it will usually come up with loads of different options. Ours is just regular because it's only regular in that font. But it will come up with bold or italic or whatever. And then here you can just click to make your size bigger, text bigger. So this is just one that helps a lot, or you can just press and hold. So that makes that bigger. And then if you go down to the right where it says VA, this will increase the tracking, which means the gap between the letters, individual letters, will get wider. So if you click this upright, as you can see, the gap between the letters is only minimal, but it is getting wider. So this can help if you want to expand something to the size of a shape. And then there's loads of other options where you can put it all in all caps. You can put an underline underneath it, or you can put a line through it. It pretty much just, there's all the options there, so you can go through that at your own time. So now that we've done our text, we can just leave that be, and remember to press the selection tool so you won't edit it anymore. So following that, then we're going to go on to the shape tool. The shape tool is just underneath the text tool, and if you right click with 2 fingers, you'll get up different options of how to create different shapes, as you can see here. You have the rectangle tool, the rounded rectangle tool, the ellipse tool, lots of different ones. And then this little M that I'm circling is like shortcuts. So if you click M on your keyboard, it will get created for you. So we're just going to create a square. And if you just click and drag, it will create one for you. And then over here is the fill. So if you just click on this, it will come up with lots of different colours. Normally it will come up, not here, it will come up with swatches like that. And you can just click on already made colours if you like to fill in your shape. Or instead, if you don't like those colours, you can head up to the colour mixer where you can create your own colours. There's lots of different options, you can just see as you move it around, it will create colour. Or if you actually want, there's a colour that you need, like if your brand has a colour, you can type it in where the hashtag is and it will bring up the exact colour that you need. So we're just going to go with this blue one to start with. And then press select so you don't edit it again. Following that, we have the Paintbrush Tool. The Paintbrush Tool is great for designing things. So if you want to make an illustration or if you want to make a logo, this is great. And the best thing about it is if you've got an unsteady hand, it will snap to make it a smooth line, as you can see. So like if you just draw it with the mouse, it will make it a straight line anyway, which is great. So the pen tool is great for anything illustrating basically. And then I think that's basically all the skills that we really need to start designing anything particularly. And as you can see, I just made a wave and it will snap to a nice wave shape. And then if you select on it, you can move it around and yeah. And then along here we have strokes. So strokes are ways in which you can edit your lines. So these little sections here, it says cap and corner, is a place where you can actually change the endings of your line. So you can make them rounded endings or sharp endings, however you really want them to be. And then if we just get rid of that, and then we can go up to brushes. Brushes is also great because it means whatever you drew your pen in, you can change what it looks like. So here are all the options. These bottom 3 are a bit irrelevant, I don't know what they're really supposed to be for. But this little sort of rustic look is one that I use a lot. So as you can see on the wave, it's now made it a bit more edgy. So it's less so just a straight line. It makes it look a bit more like a wave. So this can be used on many things. It's a great brush. So now we've done that, we're going to go ahead and actually create something. So if you go over to the right and you click next to Artboard 1, this sort of looks a bit like a piece of paper with a folded corner. This will add you an artboard, and you want to be working on artboards because it just makes it easier to save later. There's not really anything else really to it. So we're just going to sort of go ahead and make some sort of beach-like icon. So if you start making a circle, one top tip is press shift when designing a circle. If you don't press shift, it will just create a random circle for you and it'll be literally any shape to whatever you dragged it to be like. But if you press shift, it will make it just very even. So we're just going to make a black regular circle and then we're going to add some type. We're going to write beach club. And then if you just drag your circle with the selection tool and then drag your type, you can drag them on top of each other. You can change which one's in front and which one's behind by just clicking right, and it will give the option of which one would you prefer to look in front. And then we're just going to add the tracking like we said earlier using the VA tool, and this just makes it wider, which means you can then obviously expand shapes over other shapes. Then we can just leave it like this, and then we're just going to add a nice little illustration behind that with the paintbrush tool. We're going to go ahead with just the wave like I did earlier. So if you just draw it, even with the pen, look how rough that looks, and then it will snap to make it look right. Often this takes me a while to get because sometimes it just doesn't look how I want it to look. So that one didn't look how I wanted it to look. So often I'll just try it a couple of times just on the edge to see if I can get it perfect, in a number of tries. So as you can see, I'm just trying to make the perfect wave. So I just do it a couple of times. As you can see, that one was quite good, so I was quite proud of that one. And then I often just go back and decide which one was the best and delete the other ones. So I'll just delete the ones above that and select, I can't remember which one I selected in the end. and the bottom one. So then I'll just drag that with the selection tool and put that in between my circle. As you can see, our logo is sort of nicely coming along here. And then using the stroke tool, we can make it bigger or smaller, like I said earlier. So you can add it, and as you can see, it's getting much thicker with 4 points, 5 points. Or if you take it all the way down to 0.5, you'll get this really thin line, which is perfect for the logo I wanted to create if this is going for like a minimalist vibe. And then we're just going to add the tracking a little bit more because I feel like the letters need to be a bit wider. Most of illustration is just a bit of trial and error. It takes a while sometimes, but like everything you really need is there. So now our logo is looking nice. We're just going to fill in the colour of this circle. So any colour really you want. I'm going to go for a very light blue because that's sort of the logo that I want to create. And then I'm going to change the brush of my wave so that looks like a wave, as you can see. So now we've done that, then we're going to drag the lettering because we want to edit this a little bit. So if you just press the like enter button, it will move it down, and if you select it, you can change the typography of like even just one word. So we want ours to look a bit like a signature because that's the sort of logo I was going to go for. And then I was going to go for like a more signature for one word and structured for the second word, as you can see. So I'm going to use the Vogue filter. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to go for there. And then if you just press spacebar, I'm sure there's an easier way of doing that, but I just press the spacebar to like move letters apart from each other like words. And as you can see, I just couldn't decide what word to use. I think we ended up going for, yeah, I think I just went back for more typographic looking, so like calligraphy style. So yeah, as that's been going through, we're just going to drag that and put that onto our illustration and our circle and expand it. But I remember pressing Alt and dragging, otherwise it will expand to a different, like, just not what you want it. Yeah, as you can see, I was not happy with the lettering, so I went back and changed it. But then you can also do this, you can create lots of different typography, so it doesn't have to be in one text box, like as if you were just doing a Word document. You can put one, and then just as you can see, I can add another text box and write something else, which means I can put things in different places on a page. I spelt vibes wrong. And then select that, and I was just going to put that. This is a mistake I made. Usually, if you type something and use the letter I, it can like, I don't even know how to explain it. It would just like copy what you've done for something else, but it didn't work just then, so I had to go back and change it myself. Yeah, so our logo's coming along nicely. I went for the very typographic calligraphy style type in the end, and then I'm going to bring my stroke down for that wave look. And then I don't like the outing edge stroke line on this circle, so you can either make it bigger or you can move it all together by just bringing it down to 0. And as you can see now, there's no outside line. And then just bring the words out whatever you like it to look like. A little bit more, you can add some more tracking or make things smaller, literally however you like. And yeah, there's our logo that we created. Very simple, very quick. Yeah, using all just the very basic illustrating tools. So there we have it. That is our final logo design using very beginner tools. If it looks pixelated, it's probably just because you're in a setting that means it, but if you just save it as a JPEG or anything like that, then it will still look fine when you save it. There's more options underneath these basic tools on the left, obviously, but these are very complicated, so I can go through them in a more of like an advanced illustrating tutorial. Thank you everyone for watching this Adobe beginner tutorial. I hope it went through the steps. I'm not sure if it was a bit too complicated. Maybe I should even like drop it down to even more easier level than that. But I was hoping just to maybe go through the very simple steps on how you could make a logo using Illustrator. You can use this on like loads of different apps, but I think Adobe is probably the best one if you actually want to make the most perfect logo. And it's also the one that I use the most. So if you want any more help on like Photoshop tutorials or InDesign tutorials or like more advanced illustrating tutorials, just comment down below or like let me know and I can go ahead and film that as well. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time with another video. Bye!